Hey guys, welcome back. If you are new here, hang on for the ride. If you're used to being here, you're used to my shenanigans. So welcome. Today is WIP Wednesday. No, not that kind of WIP. This kind of WIP, the work in progress WIP. You know, why do we call it WIP? It's so easy to say work in progress. It makes it sound so much more official, I guess, to give it, you know, the little WIP. I blame it on texting because it's easier. But anyway, I have two projects going right now that are both crocheting projects. I am not filming them. These are just for my pleasure kind of thing. I'm working on a sweater for my daughter and then a sweater for myself. Now, on anything for my daughter, you're gonna see I only use acrylic or cotton. She is allergic to wool. And it's only since she's moved out that I picked up a little bit of light mixed wool for myself, but I have to be careful because I can't snuggle up to my husband wearing it because he is also allergic to wool. And yes, we've tried a bazillion kinds. It's a medical issue, not a scratchy texture issue. So let's start with the easiest project first, and I use the term easy loosely. I am working on a Pinterest-inspired sweater for my daughter. So the evolution of this cardigan went something like this. She sent me a photo of a summer sweater that she really liked with granny squares. But she wanted a cardigan, squares again, but not diamonds. And she wanted it not cropped, and she didn't want any buttons. She really wanted one, I'll stick the photo in here somewhere, that was made of the squares, an open cardigan that could be kept at the office for those cool days or the days when they're blasting the air conditioner. So she originally picked out the photo that I'm sharing. But when we got to the store, she took me to Joann's. By the way, guys, you know, I live in a pretty nice town for my area. And we originally had a Joann's, an AC Moore, Michael's, you know, then Hobby Lobby came in. So we had like 4 places I could go and buy yarn, which was great. We're now back down to 2. So anyway, she took me to the Joann's near her, and she's in a much more metropolitan area. And they had this huge selection of yarn. So while we were there, we found this book. I'll try to get a better picture down there and stick in here. It's called The Granny Square Source Book, and it's actually by a mix of people, honestly. Various people contributed squares. So we are making her a sweater using, and I should have marked my page, I know, but I didn't. I'm horrible about that, mainly because I've made enough of the squares. I've got it memorized now. But we're making the berries square. Can you see that? I'll stick another close-up in here as well. And I did make a couple of changes just based on the way I liked crochet. I'm using an H hook and simply soft yarn, and it's giving me a 5-inch square. So the colors that she picked were, because obviously we're making strawberries. She wanted a background of off-white. We're using Harvest Red for the actual berry. And then for the stem, we went with a dark sage green. For the squares, I actually have a pretty good stack made up, but I still have more to go. So these are how they're turning out. You can see I'm not working in my ends yet. I'm just plugging along, and I'll go back and do that because I can do that while I watch a show. And that's about how far I've made it. I think I have, oh gosh, maybe 20 squares to go, and I think I'm going to have approximately 75 and then 2 half. I have been working on figuring out how to make that into a half square, and I have the centers done, but I haven't figured out the outside edge. So that's probably going to take me a little bit, but I am keeping notes so that if I do it in the future, I'll have it. And then of course I have to do the ribbing. So that project is an ongoing project. I'm hoping to finish it over the next couple of weeks. As you can see, I've got a pretty decent amount of squares done here, and then I still have, hopefully I'm not jiggling the camera too bad, yarn overboard, that many left, that centers left that need to be turned into squares. So I'm making progress, but some nights it feels like every time I take a square out of there, it replicates and produces two in its place. But we're getting there on that one. And this is an up close of the squares. They're actually really adorable, and I'll see if I can find a link online for the pattern, but if not, I can definitely link to the book. So anyway, I think this is really cute, and it would make a really cute cotton top as well, but she wants something that's machine wash and dryable. So this is going to do well for her, and it should last. And I feel like it's going to be thick enough that she could even layer it other seasons. Now, for the work in progress for me, this is my trusty, reminds me of Miss Marple bag. I actually bought this at a fair back before the handles were so easy to find. This lady, she would buy and recycle old curtains, and her husband would cut out the handles for her. And I love this bag because it reminds me of Miss Marple, and I'm a huge mystery fan. So this project, and I'll put a link to the pattern down below, I did buy it on Ravelry, is made out of Noro yarn, and it is, oh gosh, hold on, let me get a ball with a label in my hand. Silk Garden Light in color 2172. This is beautiful yarn, lots of color in there. It's got my favorite purples and teals. So I have that, and I am down to, I just had, I believe it was, oh gosh, maybe 8 or 10 balls of this. It was a gift from my husband. Very nice yarn, much more expensive than I would normally buy for myself. So I am working on, oh, let me get my hands in this. Oh, backwards. This top that has a tie in the front. It is a top-down construction. I will stick some better photos in here. And this is a better shot of the sweater I'm working on for myself. It is the, I believe it's called the Rose Cloud Blouse, and it's by Emilia Johansson. I apologize, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce her last name, but it's actually working up really well. It's a little tricky getting the rose twisting, and I'm not a huge fan of half double crochets, and it's almost entirely half double crochets, but I'm getting there. I do like the way the yarn is striping and working out pretty evenly. So that is going to be hopefully a staple for many years to come. I'm thinking I'll be able to just layer it over a blouse. It's top-down construction, and I did adjust the depth of the underarm some to make it, one, a little looser because I do intend to layer it over things, and two, to kind of adjust a little for the bust. I added a tiny bit to the pattern. And right now, even though I meant to look it up, I just didn't. I will link all the pattern information down below, and maybe if I can figure out how to put a link in here, I'll do that too. I have a hard time doing that. So that is actually what's going to be a fall and winter project for me. So I probably will work on it a little slower. I'm down to finishing up doing the sleeves, and I have 2 balls of yarn left, so there's a good chance I'm going to end up with a 3/4 sleeve, which is fine, possibly a little longer on me because I'm not super tall, so my arms aren't super long, you know. So we'll see. And that's all I have going. I'm sure I've probably got something stashed somewhere that I put aside and just don't really ever intend to finish that I need to frog. But that's it for my first work in progress WIP Wednesday. So in a few weeks, I'm hoping to show you guys some finished products, and I would love to know down below in the comments, if you get a chance, what you're working on. Are you crocheting? Are you knitting? Are you sewing? Are you making candles? Are you, what is your creative process? What joy does it bring to your life, and what are you working on? So if you get a chance, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.